Sherwood Sherwood News Sherwood Media LLC produces fresh and unique perspectives on topical financial news and is fully owned subsidiary of Robinhood Markets, Inc., and any views expressed here do not necessarily reflect the views of any other Robinhood affiliate, including Robinhood Markets, Inc., Robinhood Finance LLC, Robin's Securities LLC, Robinhood Crypto LLC, or Robinhood Money LLC. Netflix thinks on lower than expected earnings forecasts. Netflix reported drops on the same day it officially went all cash in its bid for Warner Bros. Discovery. January 20th, 2026, 4:15 p.m. Shares of streaming giant Netflix in FLX $86.07 are down more than 4% in after-hour trading on Tuesday following the release of its fourth quarter and full-year earnings reports. Netflix issued earnings guidance of 0.7% for the first quarter of 2026, below the 0.8% that expected by Wall Street analysis pulled by FactSet. The streamers expect an operating margin of 32.1% for the quarter, up from 31.7% in the same quarter of 2025. For the full year, Netflix issued revenue guidance of $50.7 billion to $50.17 billion, with a midpoint slightly ahead of Wall Street's $50.1 billion estimates. For the quarter ended in December, the streamer posted adjusted earnings of 0.55 per share, slightly below FactSet estimates of 0.5 The company reported revenue of $12.505 billion, beating estimates of $11.97 billion and Netflix's own forecasts of $11.96 billion. For every $1 of revenue Netflix booked last year, streamers put $0.38 into creating and acquiring new shows or movies. That significant shift from its content investment habits a decade ago, when recently wrapped Stranger Things that has first debuted. Netflix expanding last to make more. In 2025, Netflix invested $0.38 into content per $1 revenue. The streamer's content spend ratio hasn't kept pace with its revenue growth. In absolute value, Netflix is investing more into content. It's just making more money too. Lucrative ad-supported tiers have boosted the company's sales figures, with the revenue growth to more than $1.5 billion in 2025. Investors are likely awaiting further details on Netflix's efforts to acquire the streaming and radio assets of Warner Bros. Discovery. On its Tuesday evening earnings call, WBD has repeatedly backed Netflix's $83 billion offer of the rejected at $3.30 per share bid by Paramount Skydance (PSKY). Early on Tuesday, Netflix further boosted its chances by amending its offer to be all cash, a welcome development for WBD investors, given Netflix stock's decline after the earnings report. Still, the deal may face regulator securities amid fierce oppositions within entertainment industry and Congress. Its filing on Tuesday, Netflix said acquiring WBD's HBO Max would allow it to offer more personalized and flexible subscription options, better meeting the diverse preferences of our global audiences. After Warner's bidding war was intense, even contracts focused on future owner of HBO parent company have begun to swing heavily in favor of Netflix. As of market close Tuesday, Netflix odds have climbed to 71% compared to Paramount's 16%. Even contracts are offered through Robinhood Derivatives LLC probabilities referred were resources for college X and forecasts. Still, these two don't appear obsessed with the ideas of Netflix. Entertainment's consolidation. Since the streamer's deal for WDBs was announced on December 5th, shares have dropped 30% of Tuesday's close. More markets. Stock whipsaw ahead of next week's big tech earnings. Stock struggles for directions ahead of next week's Fed meeting and Meta, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple earnings. Earnings season's a chance for AI hyperscalers to get their mojo back. Hyperscalers need more hype on their potential AI money-making opportunities or to show their scale-up continues to drive huge growth through this spending binge. Matt Phillips, active ETF offers exposure to Elon Musk's SpaceX. Active ETF Baron First Principles ETF has added a large stake in Elon Musk's private hold space with daily disclosure of active ETF's holdings on Friday, showing SpaceX now makes up 22% of fund's portfolio. Such a stake would open up a potential big opportunities for those looking to get access of some extrinsic billionaires' privately held business empire ahead of any private offers of shares, which is reported in the weeks of the year. The top holdings in Baron First Principles ETF are all Elon Musk's companies, SpaceX, Tesla, and XAI, run by mutual fund managers around Baron. The ETFs are own stakes in the other Musk vehicles as a privately held XAI publicly traded Tesla. The fund, which has already been traded since December 15, is down slightly on the day. AMD jumps as Intel's supply constraint over chance for CPU market share gains. As investors react negatively to the Intel INTC $44.25, negative $70.303 CEO Lip Bu Tong warning that chipmakers' turnaround efforts to be a multi-year journey. That cautionary note is reminder that advanced micro devices AMD 258.82 has more time to make a hay while the sun shines. AMD has been one of the companies that most loose shoot attempts by government NVIDIA's to prop up the beleaguered chipmaker bear fruits. In particular, Intel AMD are locked in a fierce competition in the CPU market. During its earnings call on Tuesday, Intel said that supply constraints were preventing the companies from realizing strong demand. JP Morgan analyst Hart Lancer thinks that gives AMD more room to continue muscle in the on the Intel CPU turf. We still view Intel's risk of further share losses. Its products business, particularly in server CPU, given AMD strong product portfolio roadmap and Intel's supply constraint erode. AMD is up nearly 3% as of 11.4 a.m. ET, working on its ninth straight day of gains. A positive close would match its longest winning streak since 2005. AMD poised to match longest reigning streak since 2005 AMD consecutive daily gains. Spotify climbs following an upgrade from Goldman as it prepares to hike prices. Music streamer Spotify 512.2 climb about 3% Friday following an update to buy from neutral from Goldman Sachs. The upgrade comes ahead of Spotify's announced U.S. subscription price next month and its third since 2023. Goldman lowered its 12-month Spotify price target to $700 from $735. We surprised that negative investor sentiment has turned with respect to the back of the AI theme. Our opinion, we see SPOT as well as positioned to capture on benefit for rising generative AI adoptions. Goldman said it on Friday note, adding that it watches how the rise of AI music platform will impact the Spotify's music royalty payment structure. Early this month, Morgan Stanley published a survey that found out 60% of Gen Z responded listened to AI music for an average of 3 hours per week last week, and Bandcamp announced it would be AI music's platform. Ron Mola final boss keep on trucking. Ethereum treasury firm ETHZilla acquires 2 aircraft engines in Tokezilla push. For more, its interim treasurer formed a new subsidiary and purchased aerospace equipment in a bid to boost company's tokenization efforts. The treasury firm, through its nascent subsidiary ETHZilla Aerospace LLC, acquired 2 CFM56-7 B-24 aircraft engines, together with all parts, engine records, and engine strengths for $12.2 million for Avin Engine Solutions, according to an 8-K filing on Friday with U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The 2 aircraft engines are subject to lease agreement. A major airline with appointment ETS as part of the acquisition filing states. The firm's top priority in 2026 is growing its real-world asset tokenization business. Is keen on rolling out RWA tokens in the first quarter. ETFZilla represented to host Sherwood News at the beginning of the year. ETFZilla acquisition of the 2 aircraft engines is part of the tokenized roadmap, which aims to bring real-world assets from high-value vertical markets such as aerospace, maritime, and heavy equipment on-chain. In heavy equipment market, we initially focus on aerospace assets such as aircraft engines and airframe tokenized. ETF's chairman and CF Mike Andrew Russell said his shareholder letter from December. This represents a large growing market with quality high yields assets, and we believe it's a very attractive space for tokenized.